Live right here on this Monday, we give you the prop perspective now ahead of a new week in Major League Baseball. The home run prop king is here. That is Tom Vecchio. Vecchio, as always, we appreciate the time. Thank you for joining us bright and early on this Monday morning.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, we have a full week of baseball. Get started early today at 1 o'clock. We are in the stretch run of the MLB season. Before we know it, we'll be talking football. I'm ready to go.
The jack of all trades is always the jack of all trades. Yesterday in Seattle, the Mariners take the finale of their opening weekend set after the break against divisional foe, the Houston Astros, 6-4. Sweepless in Seattle. That was my headline, Tom Vecchio, on the fly, live right here on this Monday morning. Please give me credit. Despite Yordan Alvarez hitting for the cycle yesterday for the Astros, Houston unable to complete the sweep over Seattle. So after this opening weekend, Houston wins it. They take 2 of 3 from the M's. We have a tie at the top of the American League West. Houston and Seattle. Who do you give the edge down this home stretch?
Ultimately, it's got to be Houston. They just have too much pedigree. I want to say they're also on the track to getting healthier. Kyle Tucker should be back. Verlander should be back. And ultimately, I expect them to be more aggressive when it comes to the trade deadline. We know what they've been dealing with all season in terms of injuries when it comes to pitching, but they are still in a win now mode, and they have the assets to potentially make a move, I would say a splash really at pitching. That's what they need help with. Their hitting will be fine. It's really been fine for the most part of the season. Ultimately, the value's probably gone when it comes to winning the division. I think you can maybe go to an AL future for the Astros, where I think is at plus 600, plus 650, somewhere around there. So that's probably the best spot to go, because I just think they'll be more aggressive when it comes to the trade deadline.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the Astros do, and I'm just already astounded here, Tom, that we take a look at the Astros already closed the gap on the Mariners and probably going to lap them. We'll see and find out. But let's take a look here for the New York Yankees, who we were going to think might have been lapping the field in the AL East. Not the case anymore, and maybe a little resurgence here for the Tampa Bay Rays. Today, 105 start, Littell versus Rodon, 8.5 total favorite here for the Yankees at a minus 164 price. And if Tampa Bay wins today, they'll take 3 out of 4 from the Yanks. What are we thinking today in the Bronx?
I don't know who wins this game, but I'm certainly expecting a good amount of offense. Rodon versus Littell, both pitchers are super average. Rodon started off the year super hot. He's come crashing back down to earth. It's hot there, a little bit of wind, which is good. Littell's allowing a 444 slugging or higher to both lefties and righties, a 45 and 38% fly ball rate. So let's start with over 8.5 runs for Yanks and Rays today. I don't know who wins. I think the Yanks money line is a bit too much for me. I would certainly side with the Rays, but ultimately over is the best spot to go.
Yeah, the Yankees a hefty home favorite, the only day baseball game of our 13 on this Monday in MLB. If the Yankees win, they split the 4-game set against Tampa. The Rays looking to take the final 3 for an opening weekend and then some victory after the All-Star break. The Red Sox were just swept in Los Angeles by the Dodgers, including a 9-6 clubbing last night on Sunday Night Baseball. Can they get back on track with a midweek set out in the Rockies at Mile High against Colorado? It is a total of 10. That is a Coors Field number. Tanner Houck, the ace for Boston, on the bump. Will the Red Sox rally with a victory today at Coors?
I think they do. I want to say they played pretty well, especially over the first 2 games against the Dodgers. Late game heroics from Freddie Freeman in that opening game on Friday night was the Grand Slam hit, whatever it was. They played pretty well, and they've actually been trending upward for most portions of the season. But ultimately, my favorite spot for this game would be Austin Gomber, under 4.5 strikeouts. That's sitting at minus 130. He's just not a big-time strikeout pitcher. He has a 16.1% strikeout rate this season. Yeah, the Sox strike out a good amount versus lefties this year, but since the beginning of June, Gomber has 8 starts under his belt. He's been over this mark just once. So if you were to want the over, he would have to buck the trend that he has been crashing the under on essentially every single time out there. So I expect the Red Sox to win. I don't like their money line, but the win plus Gomber under is probably the best spots to be going.
Certainly looking to bounce back there, no question about it. They're getting swept out in Los Angeles. 8:05 start tonight, 9:07, 9:08 on the rotation. Milwaukee and Chicago. Myers versus Assad. Total in this game listed at 8.5. Slight wind blowing in, but a favorite here, if you want to call it at the FanDuel Sportsbook right now, a minus 110 price on the Brewers. Assad, very good to start the season, leaking a little oil. What can we find out today, Tom?
Yeah, for Assad, you guys talked about him briefly in the previous segment. Like, he's a fine pitcher. He doesn't give up a ton of hard contact or a tremendous amount of fly balls, but he's getting hit around a lot. A 446 slugging, a 356 WOBA, and a 307 BABIP to righties. So we might not see a ton of home runs, but he's just going to get hit left and right, single, double, whatever it might be. So I want to go to Willy Adames for 2+ total bases on the Brewers. He's actually a reverse splits hitter. He's a righty, and he's better against right-handed pitchers, coming with a 121 WRC plus, 342 WOBA, and 305 BABIP. So we'll just keep it super simple for, I'm going to say, arguably their second, maybe third best hitter. Obviously, Contreras is having a great year. Yelich is up there. But Adames for 2+ total bases at plus 125 today.
A great look at what we will see on this Monday around Major League Baseball. But now, jack of all trades, we take your knowledge from the diamond back to the basketball floor ahead of the Paris Olympic Games. It's not the NBA. It's different. It's international basketball in the summer games for a gold medal. Don't know if you were watching any of the exhibition match on Saturday against South Sudan. The Americans escaped with a 101-100 victory. It was not necessarily a picture-perfect display as they get ready for the Paris Olympic Games. One final exhibition game today. That's in London against Germany. Team USA a 14.5-point favorite. Team USA still remains a hefty favorite to win yet another gold medal at -400. Vecchio, let's start with this question first and foremost. Are you going to be betting on Olympic basketball? And if so, what's the handicap you take?
I will be betting, and I actually spoke to Kevin about this over the past couple of weeks. I think there's going to be opportunities to fade Team USA against the spread. Simply just take the opposing team, because I think their lines are just going to be inflated. Everyone, wants essentially something else to bet besides baseball or golf on a weekly basis. They want something else, so these lines are inflated. That's kind of what we saw with South Sudan. If you're willing just to take the points with the underdog, some of the inconsistencies we've seen from Team USA, not just this year, but over the past however many times they've played in FIBA. Yes, it's not the same roster, but they generally start a little bit slow. So I'm confident that they win the gold. I obviously want to see them win, but I think taking the points with the underdog is probably the safest route to go, and it does leave you some ability to hedge in game if we see a team get out to a big lead, which we saw at South Sudan. They were up by 16 at halftime, I think it was the other night. You can hedge out, cash out there, and you're still rolling with Team USA to potentially come away with a smaller victory, as we saw.
Tom, we take a look every morning at what the public is going to give us feedback on. Today we asked, which Olympic sport are you most excited to watch? The options were basketball, gymnastics, track and field, and other. Do you get excited for a certain sport here in the Summer Olympics?
I do. I ran track when I was younger, so I always liked the 100-meter or the 4x1, so I'm always on board with that. I'll also be looking to the rugby sevens. That's always super fun. Fiji, New Zealand with the All Blacks versus Australia, maybe Ireland or France. Those are both good teams. So the rugby sevens are also awesome to watch.
You ran track back in the day. What are we liking when it comes to the 100-meter? Noah Lyles, second best price. Sha'Carri Richardson, the favorite at -170 to win the 100-meter in women's track. What are we thinking, Vecchio?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a Team USA sweep this year, both 4x1s and both 100-meter dashes.
Wow. That's what we love to see.
Speed.
DRS,
yeah.
You in your prime, Vecchio in his prime. 100-meter dash. Who gets the job done?
You know what? That'll be a good one. But by the way, 2 years ago, getting my daughter ready for cross-country, running sprints with her, it took me 3 or 4 till my hamstrings gave out. So that's me in my mid-40s at this point. I don't even remember. Was I fast or not? It was that long ago. Goodness.
Vecchio, what do you say? You beat Donnie right side by a nose?
Probably, but I was also in long jump, so that was also one of my favorites. So running and jumping is the route that I would go.
We got to get some video.
I like
we got to
that.
get some video. Yeah, we do.
We do got to get some video of that, Vecchio. Yeah. Listen, the jack of all trades is the jack of all trades for a reason. That includes Olympic events during the Paris Olympic Games, with the opening ceremonies starting on Friday. Vecchio, as always, we appreciate the time here on this Monday on TEL. More baseball breakdowns next.